Hello, welcome back. It's Monday today, which means that we have a Mare of Easttown recap and some theories towards the end. Feel free to subscribe and follow along every week or leave your comments and thoughts and theories down in the comments. So we're in episode 4 now and Mare has to see a grief therapist. She's off work, obviously. This episode really solidified my love for Mare and there were quite a few heartfelt and funny moments. I mean, I found Mare kind of distant in the beginning and a little bit abrasive, but I really enjoy her interactions with pretty much every character on the show, especially her mother, Colin, and her grandson, Drew. Kate Winslet is phenomenal. So the DNA results come back, and neither Dylan nor Frank are the father of Erin's baby DJ. Jess says that Erin lied because Dylan's parents were always so nice. And you can't really blame her for wanting her child to have good, stable, supportive grandparents, even though she does lie about the paternity. Dylan has a little bit of a meltdown and he tells his parents to get the baby out of the hospital since it's not even his, but later on when DJ starts crying, he does cradle and soothe him. And the reason why I was glad to see this is that it's clear that Dylan does have an emotional connection with someone. I still want to know more about this kid because he's either always very angry or just unemotional and I don't understand it. Especially since he comes from such a loving home. The way that he watched Brianna beat up Erin was absolutely unforgivable, so I guess the best that he can do now is be a good father to DJ. We find out a little bit more about Deacon Mark, who has been avoiding Colin, and we find out a bit more about the circumstances around his transfer. Apparently, there were sexual misconduct complaints from the parents of a 14-year-old girl at the previous church. Mark swears that the church investigated and found the allegations to be false, but it seems as though the cat is out of the bag. A reporter calls Mare's cousin, who's kind of snooping around about the case, so the town is bound to find out about this. I was looking for suspicious behavior in Mare's cousin. I couldn't find any this week, but we'll get to that. One of the great parts of this episode is seeing the way Mare goes about working with Colin anyway, in some kind of unofficial capacity. You see, there's another missing girl in town. Her name is Missy. We have a scene with Missy and a mysterious man in a van, and it's obvious that she's a sex worker and she's about to do her job when he lunges at her as if he's going to strangle her. The next thing we see is the news saying that Missy has been missing for 3 days, so Mare and Colin, who by the way is assigned another assistant, end up working the case together while also still investigating Erin's death. We find out that Erin also had a secret sex work account, potentially connecting her to Katie and Missy. Jessie says that Erin was desperate to pay for DJ's ear surgery, but in the end she ended up not going through with it. She didn't meet with any men. I think that Jess knows more. Not that she's lying or anything, but maybe she's scared, or it's as though there are things that she could possibly know, but Mare would need to ask them because Jess just might not think to mention them. We also get a flashback of Mare's son Drew and Carrie back in the day, in the thick of their addiction. It's bad. They're strung out, they're trying to shake her down for money, they're really terrorizing her, and they're violent, so I can definitely understand Mare's very fraught relationship with Carrie and why she's so reluctant to give Drew away. Mare also goes out on a date with Richard, or at least they go for a walk on his campus, and Richard is asking about Carrie quite a lot, and I think that that's the connection. He's always asking about her as if the relationship working out between Mare and Carrie means a lot to him. So, okay, maybe he doesn't have any malicious intent, but he's certainly holding back some information. There's a strange subplot where somebody calls Dawn pretending to know Katie's whereabouts and he wants $5,000 in ransom. It ends up being Dawn's best friend's addict brother Freddie. I wanted to disregard the story altogether because I'm sure, just like Mare, that Katie is no longer alive. But obviously by the end of the episode we know that this isn't true, so I think there's more to this subplot. By the end of the episode we see Missy being shoved into a room by a man and Katie Bailey is in that room as well. Okay, so time for theories. The first thing I checked was Mark's car, because it was obviously big enough to have Erin's bicycle in the back, but no match. This is a van and Mark drives a station wagon, so no. Also, if the rumors from the old church were true, that there was a complaint from the parents of a 14-year-old girl, it would mean that Mark is targeting girls much younger. He's definitely hiding something, and let's not forget he did dispose of Erin's bike, but I don't think that there's any connection with Katie and Missy. I also tried to make out this abductor's body type, and he seems to be of average build, slightly heavier maybe, which makes me think that this is not Mare's cousin because he's a little bit on the skinnier side. We also get a glimpse of his hair, and I know I'm contradicting myself here, but if you look at the hair matches, the only one that really matches is Mark. Because Laurie's husband has a very thick beard and long hair, and Mare's cousin's hair is too light. I should also mention that Laurie's kid has a really weird look on his face when the news bulletin comes up about the two missing girls and about Erin's death. Obviously, I don't think that the kid is in any way involved, but we need to keep an eye on this family. Finally, I obviously don't think that Erin's death is in any way connected to Missy and Katie. On the night of her death, Erin had been beaten up in the forest, and I don't think that she was going to, engage in sex work that evening. And we know that this guy's MO seems to be catching the girls when they're on their job. So we obviously have two perpetrators here, the guy who killed Erin and this guy who is abducting women. Anyway, that was a really great episode this week, and if you have any thoughts or any theories, please feel free to share. Thank you for watching.